Hello there! Welcome back to the Chronicles of a Reader, and I am the aforementioned reader, Varsha. I'm so delighted to have you all here. So today I realized that I have accumulated quite a few unread manga and graphic novels on my shelf. Since all of them are borrowed books, as most of my books happen to be, I'll need to return them soon, and hence I have to read them quickly. I really do need to get to all of them. So I decided that the best way to push myself to read them would be to conduct a readathon. And these are the books that I intend to read during the readathon. Volumes 5, 6, and 7 of Kaguya-sama Lover's War by Akasaka Aka. Look how glossy all these manga covers are. The Prince and the Dressmaker by Genwa. In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and Genwa. Making Friends by Kristen Goodsnook. Harleen by Stjepan Šejić. This one is quite strangely sized. Yet another manga, Moriarty the Patriot by Takeuchi Ryosuke and Miyoshi Hikaru. The Graveyard Book, Volume 2 by Neil Gaiman and P. Craig Russell. Demon in the Wood by Lee Bardugo and Danny Pendergast. Now, I've actually already read the short story, but this is the graphic novel adaptation, so I'm excited to see how that would turn out. I don't know how many I'll realistically be able to get through, but I hope to do a solid chunk of damage to my TBR. I'm gonna get changed into something comfy now, and let's start reading. Hello again, I'm back. The time is just about to be 8:50. Yeah, it's 8:50 now. And I guess I'll read from 9 o'clock today to 9 tomorrow. That way it will be a complete 24 hours. A bit later than what I would like, but I guess it's all right. And I'll be starting out with reading the 5th volume of Kaguya-sama. That's what I'm going to be reading first and make my way through the rest of the books. The story is set at Shuchin Academy, one of the most prestigious high schools where the children of the elite upper class study. We follow our two main characters, Shinomiya Kaguya, the vice president of the student council who comes from a wealthy and influential family, and Shirogane Miyuki, the president of the council who is one of the few students from less privileged backgrounds and has secured his position through hard work and academic merit. These two are literal geniuses, but are too proud to admit their feelings for each other, and hence are caught up in an unending campaign to induce the other to confess first, as they believe the person to make the first move loses the war of love, hence the title. So it's currently 10:22, which is a few minutes later than what I hoped would be an early update. I haven't been able to read as much as I would like because I've had a few chores keeping me up all morning, but I did manage to get in a few minutes of reading time, and I'm currently still in the middle of this. Haven't made that much progress, but I'm currently on chapter 3. I finished chapter 3, and yeah, I hope to finish this within the next hour. It's after all a manga, it shouldn't take me that long, but I've just kept being disrupted. Half of this volume furthers what the characters are up to during summer break.
We learn more about Kaguya's strained relationship with her father, and that explains why she appears so cold towards the others.
So it just turned 11:31 now, and yet another hourly update. Once again, not really on the 1 hour mark, but then I've been quite busy. The chores really do keep me up, and because of that, I'm still in the middle of this book, the volume 5 of Kaguya-sama. And I've read 3 more chapters, and I'm on chapter 8 now, and I still have another 3 or so to finish it. I hope to be done by this hour, and then I'll pick up another book. I haven't really decided what I want to read next, but I'll let you know once I do. It's currently 1:52 and I'm just about to head out to lunch, so I thought I would pop in here for a quick update before I have to eat. And yeah, I finally finished the first book. Oh, it's upside down. So I finally finished the first book of the Readathon, and it was really fun, made me miss school so much. And after that, I moved on to this book. I thought I would take a break from reading manga because I have quite a few of those, and I just wanted to change up the format. It's not that different, but it does make a slight difference. So yeah, I picked this one up, something that I desperately need to do. And yeah, I've been reading it. I think, yeah, I'm 42 pages through, and it's really fun so far. I'm not able to relate all that much because my own school experiences were quite different from this, but it's still really nice to read a middle grade graphic novel.
In this graphic novel, we follow Dani, a 7th grader who struggles to make new friends after her best friends from elementary school end up in different classes. She feels them drifting further away from her, and she is overwhelmed by how isolated she feels at middle school. But when she inherits a magic sketchbook from her deceased great aunt and discovers that anything she sketches in it comes to life, she decides to create a new best friend for herself. And while things are great at the beginning, she soon realizes that making a friend is a lot easier than keeping one.
It's currently 5:22 and I haven't done an update in quite a while, so I decided I would check in since we're 1/3 of the way through the readathon. By this time, I have completed reading Making Friends. This was a very interesting graphic novel. It had several unexpected turns. When I first picked this up, I did not expect it to be within the fantasy genre, but really enjoyed it. And I finished that half an hour ago, and I decided to pick up volume 6 of Moriarty the Patriot as my next read. And this one, I have just started it. I'm halfway through the first chapter, and it's pretty much how I remember how the other books be.
This manga series reimagines the classic Sherlock Holmes stories from the perspective of his infamous rival, Moriarty. Set in the late 19th century, we follow Moriarty as he fights against the unfair class system in London by making sure the corrupt nobility pays for their crimes.
It's currently 9:17 now at night, and it's pretty late for me. So yeah, I've finished quite a few books by this time. I completed volume 6 of Moriarty the Patriot, and this one, it was really dark and gritty, just like the previous volumes. I found this one a bit more difficult to follow, but I had to reread the sections a couple of times, but it was alright. And after that, I picked up the Graveyard book by Neil Gaiman, the graphic novel edition. This is volume 2. I'd already read volume 1 previously, so I just decided to continue with it. And I'm still on chapter 1, but it's like I'm around 35 pages in now. And this one, it's not keeping my interest like the other books I've read, so maybe I'll put it down for the time being and pick up another book that I could fly through more quickly. And I also read the last bit of The Elites. I know this isn't a graphic novel or manga, it's a full-length novel, but I have to return this to the library tomorrow, so I still had a couple of chapters left over, so I just quickly finished those up today, and that definitely ate into the reading time I had allocated for the book's first readathon, but I'll try to make up for it. For now, I do need to take a bath and shower, and after that I'll be able to read until I go to bed, which will be probably around 11 p.m. I don't want to stay up any longer than that.
The book follows the life of a boy named Nobody Owens, nicknamed Bored, who is raised by ghosts in a graveyard after his family is murdered. We see several of his adventures as he learns more about the worlds of both the living and the dead, meets new people, and lands himself in numerous sticky situations.
Currently 3:36 p.m. on the next day, and I'm ashamed to say that I unfortunately haven't managed to read as much as I would like to. So originally this was intended to be a 24-hour readathon, but several things cropped up. I had to go out to town today for a doctor's appointment for my grandmother, and we spent quite a while out there. And because of that, I didn't manage to get any reading done throughout the day. I thought I would wake up early today at around 5 and read until 9. That did not happen either. I was really tired from yesterday and I just overslept. I never sleep that late, but yeah, I didn't wake up until 8. So I guess I'll just have to extend it to 48 hours and see how that goes. I tried for a 24-hour readathon, that didn't happen. And yes, I am still in the middle of the Graveyard Book, Volume 2. This is taking up such a long time. I know I should probably put it down and pick up another book to do better on the challenge, but I really don't want to set it down. What if I don't have the motivation to pick it up again later? So yeah, I'm still going through this. It's not that this is a bad book. In fact, this is a brilliantly written book. I haven't read the original work by Neil Gaiman. This is the graphic novel adaptation. Even then I can see that the writing, it's really good. But for some reason, I just find this a bit dense to get through. So I guess I'll just keep pushing myself to finish this. I'm nearly done. I'm on page 117 now, and I just have 50 or so pages left. I'll just get through it and then pick up some manga to read stuff at a faster pace and then just get through the rest of my TBR.
This graphic novel is set in Paris at the turn of the century. We follow our two main characters, Frances, who aspires to become a renowned designer, and Sebastian, the Crown Prince of Belgium, who fulfills his royal duties by day, but at night becomes Lady Crystalia, a fashion icon taking the city by storm. Frances catches Prince Sebastian's attention when she designs an unconventional dress for a rebellious customer. Impressed by her creativity, Sebastian hires her to be his personal dressmaker, and the story progresses from there.
Currently 9:34 p.m. and I've been reading all evening. This is something that I haven't done in a long while. Yeah, it's really fun to relive those childhood memories of mine. I've been so busy over the years since starting high school that I have not even found the time to do this hobby that I find so much pleasure in. But because I haven't exercised my reading muscles in quite a while, I've not been able to read as much as I would like to. I think that I would read a certain amount, but I never end up doing it. I vastly overestimate my abilities. But I have managed to finish not one, not two, but three books in the meantime. Once again, they're not full length novels, but it's still pretty good. I finally managed to finish the Graveyard Book, and once again, this one was quite dark and it was a very haunting story, as expected from the title, The Graveyard Book. I quite enjoyed it, but it did take up a lot of my reading time, and I wish I had kept it for the end or maybe attempted to read it a bit faster. And after that, I picked up Kaguya-sama Volume 6 because I really wanted something quick and snappy to make myself push through more of my TBR. And this was exactly what I needed. It was so cute. And after that, I decided to pick up yet another graphic novel, and this time I read The Prince and the Dressmaker by Chen Wang. And this was such a beautiful story. It was really fairy tale-esque and the ending was so heartwarming. I really enjoyed it. And now that I'm done with that, I think for my last book of the day before I retire, I'll probably just pick up Kaguya-sama Volume 7 because I am quite tired now. It is a struggle to keep my eyes open, and I know for sure that if I try to read another graphic novel, I will fall asleep. So I might as well get through a manga, which I know I can finish within half an hour or so, and then hit the hay before waking up early tomorrow morning to finish the rest of my TBR. And that's the update for now. It's the morning of the next day and it's currently 9:33, and yeah, the readathon is finally over, I guess. I did stop reading at exactly 9, it's just that I didn't get the time to film it exactly at that time. So yeah, now you hear the update from me half an hour later, but I swear I did finish reading at 9. And the only update I have is that I got halfway through Kaguya-sama Volume 7. I fell asleep reading it and I tried to read a bit more today morning, but I didn't make that much progress because I guess the events of the past 2 days have been really catching up with me. I realize it is so very tiring to film a readathon. It's just so stressful because you have to read and also give continuous updates and film yourself all the time. So yeah, as my very first readathon, I would say this has been a success, though I wish it went much better. Once again, I realized I really needed to exercise my reading muscles. I vastly overestimated my abilities for this one. It's a good thing that I didn't try to do a readathon with full-length novels, because even with just comic format, I struggled so much. Imagine how much worse it would have been had I tried it in the traditional format of books. And I've learned a great deal about myself from doing this. One, that I cannot force myself to read for long periods of time. I was able to when I was younger, but now that I have been trained not to even expect long periods of reading time throughout high school, it will take a long time for me to get back to how absorbed I was in a book when I was in middle school. So that's not really a bad thing. I do end up reading quite a lot every week. It's just that it's not in continuous chunks of time. I'm feeling quite tired and my eyes look very dead today. So I'll be catching up on the other work that has accumulated when I've been dedicating my time to reading. And that's the 48-hour readathon for you. Over to the official wrap-up. I gave all 3 of the Kaguya-sama volumes 4.75 stars. I truly adore the series. And if you're looking for a hilarious rom-com with a high school setting, characters who are always trying to gain the upper hand over the other, expending their brain power and psychoanalyzing everyone, it's rife with sharp, witty banter. Or if you're just looking for a light-hearted slice of life, then this is the one for you. And it even has an anime adaptation that is worth checking out. I gave Making Friends 4.25 stars, and this book, it really explores the complexities of friendship, how you can't force it upon someone else, it has to develop organically, and being yourself is the best way to make new friends. And I also really found the artwork beautiful. I'm by no means a person who understands art or color theory, but I could see that the colors in this one were really vivid and popped right off the page. I gave The Prince and the Dressmaker 4.5 stars. This book had great emotional depth. It tackles themes of identity, self-expression, and acceptance. It truly captures the struggles of living authentically in a world that always demands your conformity. The ending was so heartwarming and felt like a breath of fresh air. This book is something that would definitely cheer you up if you're going through a hard time. Ultimately, it's about the power of friendship and how it can change your life for the better. And it had some incredible gender-fluid representation. The Graveyard Book gets 4 stars from me. This is a mesmerizing visual rendition of a modern classic, and it truly captures the eerie charm and whimsical darkness of Gaiman's original work. It deals with several heavy topics like death and the loss of loved ones, but from the perspective of someone who lives with ghosts in a graveyard, someone who has made their peace with the inevitability of dying. The ending leaves it open to the reader to imagine the next segment of Bod's life. It was truly very bittersweet. Moriarty the Patriot gets 4 stars from me. This volume delves deeper into Moriarty's plan and the tense cat and mouse game with Sherlock. I guess in a way it's similar to Kaguya-sama in how they're always trying to outwit the other, but the stakes are way higher here. For those who want a new take on the classic work by Arthur Conan Doyle, they should probably check this one out. And I also like the portrayal of Sherlock in this one. It's quite different from the usual adaptations. If you enjoy intricate schemes that make your head spin with how complex they are, you should probably check out this one. And it also has pretty cool queer representation. This is a small book haul of the books that I picked up from the library. You can only borrow 2 books at once with my membership tier from the library, that's why I only picked up these 2. And to be fair, I do have quite a lot of books on my TBR here that I do need to read, so it's just as well. And I don't know too much about them. This one I picked it up because it won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2012. It's Pao by Mo Yan. And I don't know too much about the plot except that it involves a young man telling the journey of his life to an old monk who he hopes would take him upon as an apprentice. And it does seem quite interesting. And I do want to find out why it was worthy of winning a Nobel Prize. Usually I don't do too well with literature that has won such great accolades. For me, they're too dense and they go over my head, but I guess I'll give this a try. And the other book I got was The Once and Future Wishes by Alex E. Harrow. This one is definitely more up my alley since it is a fantasy book. This is historical fantasy. It's set during the suffragette movement in America, and we follow 3 sisters, I believe. Yes, the Eastwood sisters, as they find out more about the witch burnings that occurred in Salem. And it also has to do with discovering hidden power and that witches aren't dead like they're presumed to be. Again, I don't know too much about this, but I hope I'll enjoy them. Out of the 10 books in my TBR, these are the ones that I ended up reading. And this one I only reached about halfway through by the end of the readathon, but I decided I might as well finish it since I was having quite a good time with it. And yeah, I wouldn't say this readathon was a great success, but I hope that I'll be able to do better in future ones. For now, this was a really cool experiment to see how much could I realistically read. And that's all for today. Catch you later in my next video. 再见.